What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, Chandler, is it worth it to invest in a rental property? And so in this video, I'm gonna talk about all of the pros and cons that you need to know before making the jump. And so do not purchase that first rental until you've watched this entire video. And with that being said, let's jump into it. All that I ask you to do is make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell, and I promise you this video is gonna help you decide whether investing in rental properties is right for you. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler, and I've been investing in real estate for over 8 years. I currently own over $14 million of real estate, and I have seen it all. Now, I've gone through evictions, I've had my properties destroyed, I've had people not pay rent, I've been sued, I've had everything that you can possibly think of happening happen to me. And it's very interesting because all of the things that have happened to me are also the biggest concerns that people have before entering the market. They're always saying, Chandler, what if I can't find tenants? What if the tenants don't pay? What if I have to deal with evictions? What if the market drops? What if I get sued? And here's the deal, those are all very valid concerns. However, in this video, I'm gonna help you understand all of the negatives of investing in real estate so that you can decide if the positives are worth it and make an educated decision before making the plunge. So with all of that being said, we're gonna just jump right into it. And the best way to do that is just knock off all of these big concerns one by one. The first one is the concern I get asked about the most, and that is, Chandler, what if I can't find a tenant for my property? And it's a valid concern. You buy a rental property, you can't find a tenant, now you're stuck with a mortgage and you don't know what to do. But here's what I would tell you. If you analyze your market properly and you recognize that there is a need for housing, then you're gonna be able to look and say, all right, this unit should be able to rent for $850 a month. That makes my numbers work. I'm ready to make the jump. But if you take the time to understand your market, to call on all of the other properties that are for rent, to see how long they've been sitting there, how long they usually sit there before they get picked up, you're gonna be able to look at a property and say, all right, this can rent for $850, and on average, it's only gonna take 1 to 2 weeks to get filled. And so it shouldn't be a major concern if you understand your market, because you're very easily gonna get it filled. People need housing, and if you're in a market where people do need housing, which is the majority of markets, you're gonna be able to fill it very easily. And the best part is, if you can't fill it at the price you were expecting, usually if you drop it $25 or $50, you're gonna have a ton of applications because you're below what the market rents are, and that's gonna send everyone that's looking to you. And so for all of those people that are so concerned that their property is gonna sit vacant for 6 months before they find someone, you need to make sure you do good due diligence on your tenants. And we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But the reality is you're always gonna be able to find a tenant. And if you can't, you just need to lower the price a little bit and you're gonna get someone in there immediately. The next big concern is, Chandler, what if my tenants don't pay rent? And here's the deal, that's also a valid concern and it's going to happen at some point. However, if you screen your tenants properly, if you do a background check, if you pull credit, if you make sure that they have good work history, then you're gonna find a good tenant that's gonna pay their bills and they're not gonna give you any issues. Now, I have made the mistake where I didn't do the proper due diligence on tenants. And I say me, but my management company put someone in that they really shouldn't have. This has been the worst eviction ever. And if you want to see that whole process, you can click the link up here. I'm going to share another little taste of what this eviction looked like just to scare you, but then to put you at ease in just a minute. So here's a little taste.
The deal is,
well, I don't know.
I'm still talking. If you want to say I owe you and that makes you feel better, by all means. But take the business opportunity and be a businessman. A steady right now. How's your bulging? Because of that old right there. It's your fault that they got up. That's you're a piece of owner, bro. Everybody kiss your No. You're a piece of at this.
So you got to see that. I understand why this is a concern for you. However, had we screened our tenant properly, we never would have had to deal with this. And the best part is we did it wrong. We made a mistake, but we were able to get them evicted, get someone else in there, and it ended up not being that big of a deal. And so just understand, you can do things right on the front end, but even if you don't, it's not gonna be the end of the world. You're gonna be able to evict them and get someone else in there. Now, this segues perfectly into the next big concern, and that is, what if the tenants destroy the property and they're a ton of work to deal with? Well, I've got another video for you on that same eviction. This is what they did to my property.
There's our first hole. And more stuff. And the kitchen, canned food, and just destroyed the sink, the cupboards, broke all the cupboards out. Luckily in this video you can't smell it, but I can smell it.
Now you can see they absolutely destroyed this property. However, this property had been cash flowing very well, and now since then has cash flowed extremely well, and we found good tenants to put in there, so we haven't had major issues. The reason I share this with you is I'm consistently setting aside reserves in my properties. Now, if this would have been the only property I owned, it would have hurt pretty bad, and it would have taken a while to make up for the expense we had in fixing the property and getting it re-rented. However, when I have over 100 units of rental real estate, this didn't even put that big of a dent in my overall expenses, and we weren't even over budget for all of my properties for what we had laid aside for expenses that we had expected. So that's why it's so important to plan for these things, understand your expenses, and put yourself in a good place. And here's the reality. If you would have had just this one property, I promise you a tenant like this would not, or at least should not, have gotten through the cracks so that you end up in this situation in the first place. But if they do, we plan for this, all right? So it's okay. That's why you set aside those expenses. And so when the worst case scenario happens, you're gonna be able to figure it out. Situations like this are actually one of the reasons that I push people towards getting a management company and making sure it's a good management company, so that if these things happen, they don't have to deal with them, and they shouldn't happen if you've screened your management company properly. Now, that might sound like a jab on my management company, but this is the only major eviction we've had in 8 years, and now I'm up to over 114 units of rental real estate, and so I consider myself pretty lucky because every single year, even the year we had to pay for this renovation, we absolutely killed it. Everyone has these concerns of dealing with tenants and all of the negatives that come with them. It's a rough job being a landlord. Like, it sucks. It's not super fun, and that's why I would push you towards getting a management company. And if you manage it on your own, you can still do it. But this is one of the reasons that people don't like purchasing rental properties, because it can be a lot of work. And if it's not your main job and you're trying to do your main job and then deal with tenants on the side, it can be overwhelming. But you've got to treat this like a business. And if you set up the proper systems, it's very easy. But I am very pro rental property, and I'm gonna explain why. However, I understand these concerns, and if any of those things are things that you personally don't think you can stomach, then this probably isn't right for you. However, I truly believe you can put the right systems in place so that you can stomach them. The last point that I wanted to make is, a lot of people are worried about the market dropping. If you purchase a rental property properly, it's going to have a lot of cash flow, and you're going to have good equity in it. You're going to be able to leverage it so you can purchase it with a low down payment. And all of these things are going to put you in a place where, even if the worst case scenario happens, even if the market drops 25%, as long as you hold on to your property, you keep it filled with good tenants, that's not going to be an issue. As a matter of fact, you're gonna recognize the market's in a dip, you're gonna go buy more rental properties, and when you pull out of it, your property that you owned is gonna go back up and above, and the properties you bought at a discount are gonna go up, up, and beyond. And so please, don't get overwhelmed. Recognize that purchasing a rental property is worth it, even with all of these potential risks. You just need to understand that you can protect yourself from getting sued, or from the market dropping, or from an eviction, or from all of these other things by purchasing rental properties properly. And there's a lot that goes into that, from setting up the right reserves, purchasing them with the right numbers, using leverage correctly, making sure that you get an LLC and insurance so that you're protected liability-wise. There are all of these different things you can do to hedge your bet so that this is a conservative and very low risk investment. And if that sounds overwhelming to you, don't be overwhelmed. I've created a course that shows you step by step everything you need to do to be able to invest in real estate. And it's actually pretty simple if you're willing to put in the time. So I'm gonna dive into all of the pros of investing in real estate, But if you are interested in purchasing the course, it's usually $300. However, if you click the link below and use that code, you can get $50 off of my course and pick it up for just $249. I put a ton of time into this course, and I'm confident it's going to give you everything you need to know to invest in real estate properly. Now, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And here's the deal. If you're hesitant about purchasing a course, you should be. Go watch my other videos because I explain how to invest in real estate. I give you a lot of basic information so you know everything that you need to do to invest properly. Watch those and make sure real estate investing is a good fit for you before you go purchase anyone's course. And if you like the way that I explain things, I'm confident that you'll love the course. Now that we've covered all of that, let's jump into the pros of investing in real estate. And this is the best part. And I'm gonna be very brief on these, but if you wanna get into the pros more in depth, you can click the link up here. The first big benefit of investing in real estate is cash flow. And what cash flow is after you've spent money on your mortgage, your expenses, any money you're setting aside for future expenses, your insurance, your taxes, and anything else, you have what's left over. So the rent comes in, the expenses go out, whatever's left over, that's cash in your bank, and that is cash flow. And if you purchase properties properly, your cash flow should be anywhere from 10 to 20%. Now, that's an incredible return, but that barely scratches the surface of the benefits that come from real estate. The next big benefit is principal pay down. Now, if you've used a loan to purchase the property, every month you're paying your mortgage, and a portion of that mortgage is going to principal pay down. That means a portion of your mortgage is getting paid off, so you're getting more and more equity in your property. So your property kind of acts like a bank account that's consistently going up in value because your tenants are paying that mortgage for you. And that's on top of your cash flow. The next big benefit is something called appreciation. Now, you've heard of inflation. When inflation happens, your dollar becomes worth less. But what's really cool about appreciation is it's the exact opposite. On average, properties consistently go up in value. Now, a portion of that is because of inflation and the dollar going down in value, but you're also getting extra appreciation because property in general consistently goes up in value. And so in my market, I've had appreciation as much as 10 to 15% every single year on properties. And on some properties, you can force appreciation by buying them at a discount when you purchase them. Now, on average, properties go up in value between 3 and 5% nationwide. However, if you purchase them properly, it can be way more than that, like I've shared on some of my experiences with my properties. So you've got cash flow, you've got principal pay down, you've got appreciation, and on top of all of that, you have huge tax benefits where if you use these tax benefits properly, you shouldn't have to pay any tax on your cash flow, your appreciation, or your principal pay down. Now, I'm not gonna dive into that, but what you need to understand is if you purchase rental properties properly, you can mitigate all of your risk. You can set up systems so you're not dealing with any of the negatives, and you should be getting anywhere from a 40 to a 60% return on your money every single year. And so when people ask me, Chandler, is it worth it? It looks like you've dealt with all of the crap. My answer will always be 100% it's worth it. And if you haven't purchased that first rental property, I'm telling you, you will love this course where I show you from start to finish how to invest in real estate, and you can get $50 off by clicking the link below and using the coupon code that's in the description. And if you're hesitant, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so that you can watch all of my other videos and see my future videos where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. And the great part about all of those videos is they're free and they're going to teach you a ton about investing in real estate. And then if you love those, you can check out the course. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys.